Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I want to talk a little bit about what I mean when I talk about a knife being smooth, on the high end and on the low end. So, on the low end of knives, like your Z Hunter, you get knives that are just not very smooth at all. The pivot as you open and close, that's what we're always talking about, is the distance between the knife being closed and open and the amount of resistance and the amount of inconsistency you feel in there. That's what I mean when I'm talking about smoothness. And the Z Hunter here, which is a $10 gas station knife that I just love to hate, is not terribly smooth. In fact, if you manipulate the pivot, listen to this. You're feeling things rattling around in there. You're feeling a lot of grit and resistance. The washers are plastic. It's just ugly. The smoothness on this guy is very, very low. Similarly, the Spyderco Dragonfly can be a smoothish knife, but all backlocks are going to suffer a little bit in the smoothness department because they involve dragging metal along metal here in the back there. And very often they're not perfectly milled, there's not a perfect interface, and as a result, these knives are not terribly smooth. You are never going to get a Dragonfly to shut just using force like this. It's just not going to happen. A lot of resistance is required, and even that resistance varies from moment to moment as you're opening the knife. It's just a simple fact of life. Some knives are actually hindered by a lack of smoothness. This is the Kershaw Nura. It's a $15 flipper from Kershaw. And the thing is, this knife is not very smooth. If you just hold the blade open, it's really not going anywhere. And that's not ideal. And especially for a flipper. Flippers kind of depend on smoothness because the blade needs to be able to travel on relatively little force from closed all the way up to open. And on this guy, because it's not very smooth, when you hit the flipper tab, if you're not really careful or if you don't give it a little bit of wrist, it's not reliably going to pop open. And so a lack of smoothness can be a serious problem on a lower end knife. Then you kind of get to the mid-range, where a lot of your low to mid knives are in terms of smoothness, and the Rat one is a good example of this. This knife has a little bit of resistance to it. As you open and shut this knife, it's not going to be able to drop shut or anything no matter what you do. And as you're manipulating the pivot, you feel little stick slip sorts of events, but it's okay. It's fine. It's not dangerous. It's not lacking in smoothness in a terrible way, but it's certainly not high end. And so, this is where a lot of people start their knife journey. And once they handle things on the higher end, the hedonic adaptation, the desire to see the higher and higher end stuff starts to go up, and our perceptions of smoothness start to change. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Some knives are never going to drop shut, but they're unquestionably smooth, and the Small Sebenza by Chris Reeve Knives here is a great example of this. When this guy is properly lubricated, usually with a grease sort of affair rather than an oil, closing it and opening it is absolutely effortless, except that you do need to provide a little tiny bit of force. But all throughout the close and open process, it is 100% smooth. It's like sliding a glass plate on top of another glass plate with a layer of Vaseline in the middle of it. Absolutely, kind of a fun motion even. This is a nice knife to handle just because it is so damn smooth. It's a beautiful thing. It does take a lot of resistance though, and this is not a knife that's just gonna fall shut. You can get it there, but it really requires some force. That's not what this Chris Reeve smoothness is about. It's about that glass-on-glass sort of smoothness feeling. It's hydraulic. It's a beautiful thing, but it's a very different thing than the kind of smoothness you're seeing over in these guys over here. Another knife that's got that same kind of thing is the Spyderco Sleesh Bowie, which is another knife that's got that nice, smooth, calm, hydraulic feeling to it. Absolutely wonderful feeling on a knife, but very, very different than some of the other kinds of smoothness. This guy's actually a little looser, so you can pop it open and slam it shut with a little bit more authority, if you will, but it's still not super common. But that's another kind of smoothness. When people talk about Sebenza smooth, they mean that sort of glass-on-glass, absolute column smoothness, rather than the sort of drop-shutty smoothness that you see on a knife like this guy, the Grimsmo Norseman. Some knives are using things a little bit differently, and so they're going to be a little bit smooth by default. A knife like this guy, this is a Smock SK23, and when you press this button in here, it's a compression lock. When you press that button in there, There's nothing in the way of the blade. The blade is just sitting on the pivot. Nothing's touching it, and so as a result, this knife is absurdly smooth. And it would be even more so if it didn't need cleaning, because I've been carrying it a lot lately. But this knife is, when you've got this button pressed, absolutely absurdly smooth. Same thing with a Benchmade Axis lock that's in good adjustment. Very few of them are, unfortunately, but the blade can just flop around. The Buck Marksman is another great example of this. Similarly, the Chris Reeve tie lock, there's really nothing to this knife. There's no lock bar, there's no pressure on it. The only thing that's holding the blade open is this little barbel that drops into this slot. And aside from the force that's required to move the barbel around, this knife is absolutely smooth as you open and close it, which is kind of nice, and it's a beautiful feeling in the fingers to open and shut this knife as a result. But neither of these have lock bars. Well, at least you can take the lock bar out of play on this guy, and this has a non-conventional lock bar, and so both of these knives are very smooth, but they're smooth in a slightly different way, like the Sebenza and the Slish Bowie, but just a little bit, they're doing a different thing when I talk about smoothness there. Let's talk about more classical smoothness. When I'm talking about it, usually what I mean is a complete lack of resistance when you open and close the knife. A tendency for the blade to fall shut on its own, under its own weight, because there's just so little resistance. If I hold this knife and I press, the blade shuts a fair amount of the way. And that's because there's very little resistance. This is on ball bearings, and so this feels very, very nice. This is the ZT452CF, and it's probably the production knife with the best action that I've handled. It's a really incredible knife in terms of that smoothness of action, in terms of the fall shuttiness. It's really batting way above its weight class. Another great knife, this is a Midtech. This is the Graham Razel Midtech. Really weird knife, but because it's got a nice heavy blade and it's got bearings to it, it's absolutely smooth. And so when I press this a little bit, it starts to go shut. And in fact, this guy, because it's so damn heavy, has a little more trouble than most, but the action on this knife is just super, super smooth, and it does that nice little fall shut trick. But there's a lot more resistance on this guy and this guy than on these ones over here, which are really top-of-the-line sorts of actions. On the really high end of smoothness, you get kind of finger guillotines, basically knives that, when you let the lock bar out of the way, will just fall shut on their own without any help whatsoever. There's very little resistance, they just fall shut. This Shirogorov Neon is one of those. When you pop it open, it flies open with authority, and then when you let it shuts with authority. And even with this lightweight, small blade, the action is so good, it does that. Another great action knife is the Kodiatsla Custom here. This has an incredible smoothness to it. It's an incredibly fall-shutty sort of knife. There's a little bit of resistance in there still, and if you just work the pivot, you do feel a little bit of resistance, given this guy's a little dirty, but still, this is one of very few knives that can play around at that super high end. As far as I'm concerned, the king of the smoothness is the Grimsmo Norseman, or a knife by John Grimsmo and Eric Grimsmo, the Grimsmo brothers, because this knife is very hard to keep shut. Once you release the lock bar, it will fall shut of its own accord, and it will fall all the way shut. There's very little resistance. Even if you hold it at an angle, it'll still fall shut. The pivot has so little friction, it's almost freaky. Like, handling this the first time, it's just like, oh my God, you can do that? It's absolutely incredible. And so this is the king of fall shut knives as far as I'm concerned. I'd love to find something better because holy crap, it would require like repulsors or something like that. But absolutely incredible. Almost to the extent where it's mildly dangerous, because if you go just a little bit past the thumb stud here and your finger's in the way, it's just going to fall right shut and bite you. So you got to be a little careful the first time you handle something this smooth. But it's incredible just because it is so damned easy to close the knife. You just move the lock bar out of the way and then grab the knife, and it's shutting itself, basically. The other high-end competition for smoothest knife ever in this sort of really low friction category, unlike the really hydraulic Sebenza category, is something like this. This is a custom knife by Andre Thorburn, and Thorburn is another of the names that's tossed around as the smoothest knives ever, and I totally get it. Because he's using a different strategy. It's called IKBS, Ikomakort Bearing System, and basically you have a bunch of little balls that are suspended in the grease, and the resulting action is not quite as drop-shutty as the Grimsmo Norseman. You need to use a little bit more force with it. But it's got this really cool blend of the drop-shut sort of feeling of the Norseman with the hydraulic sort of feeling you get off the Sebenza. And so this knife, as you're using it and manipulating it, feels absolutely like glass-on-glass smooth, but it has very, very, very little resistance like the Norseman. So I would say it's differently smooth than the Norseman, and if you're into that hydraulic feeling, this is probably going to be more attractive to you than that sort of dry, just repulsor lift, fall shut sort of thing. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's any smoother or less smooth. They're just doing things a little bit differently. So that's kind of a survey of the smoothness in the knife world. At the end of the day, the question you got to ask yourself is, well, does it actually matter, all this smoothness that Nick's on about? And the answer, unfortunately, is probably no. I mean, practically speaking, I love this knife because it's so damn smooth, and handling this Thorbjorn is an absolute pleasure, but that's a luxury. At the end of the day, this knife, that's plenty fine in opening and closing, is going to be just as effective a cutting tool. And so you can't kid yourself that this incredible smoothness is a crucial thing. It's oh my God, I need that kind of smoothness. It's a luxury. It's something that when it's there, it's a beautiful thing, and when it isn't there, it's not so wonderful to me. And for me, I got enough hedonic adaptation. My pleasure is tied up enough in this smoothness that I really do love this high-end category. But at the end of the day, there are good arguments not to have that kind of smoothness. This kind of thing can cut your finger off if you're not careful with it, whereas this is never going to cut your finger off. That's a good argument. And, you know, there's a lot to be said for less expensive knives. So, I don't know. But that's kind of what I'm on about when I'm talking about smoothness. It's a good evaluation of the mechanical mastery involved. The mastery here is incredibly high versus the mastery here is not so masterful. It's a great knife, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't exude that same feeling. Same thing with the Thorbjorn or even the Utzler here. There's some mechanical mastery involved there. So, you know, that's kind of, I guess, where I land with it. It's cool. Smoothness is absolutely wonderful. And once you get to handle it, once you experience it, you're going to be like, oh, I want more of that, in all likelihood. But at the end of the day, it's not super important because at the end of the day, the knife is really only going to be useful when it's in your pocket or when it's open and cutting things. And that part in the middle there just isn't so important. But it still brings me joy. Let's be real here. I hope this is at least mildly interesting to you. Mostly I just wanted to show off some really awesome smooth knives I got on the table at the moment. And, yeah, have yourself a very smooth rest of your day. Bye now.